Today I'm going to be reviewing all the movies to feature the comic book character, the Punisher. For those who don't know, the Punisher is a ruthless vigilante who takes place in the same comic book universe as Spider-Man, Daredevil, and the Avengers. The character is unique in the fact that he's not a superhero, he has no powers, he's just a violent vigilante that appears to have an endless supply of guns and bullets. It's almost like if Charles Bronson existed in the Marvel Universe and they just decided to start writing stories around his character while the superhero stuff is going down. And just a little background information for those who aren't familiar with the character, the Punisher is Frank Castle, depending on which version you watch, an ex-cop, ex-special ops agent, or ex-marine whose family is brutally murdered by the mob. And after his family's brutal slaying, Frank Castle hunts down every mobster that had anything to do with his family's death, kills them, and then devotes the rest of his life to punishing the guilty. I will not make any arguments against the idea that John Bernthal is the perfect Punisher, because he kinda is. But today, I'm reviewing the Punisher movies, and my opinion on which one is the best goes solely with those options. The first movie to feature the comic book anti-hero was the 1989 action film, The Punisher, starring Dolph Lundgren. The Dolph Lundgren version, I admit, has a lot of problems, primarily in its story and its execution of certain scenes that just come off as unintentionally funny. And the way certain scenes play out are kind of far-fetched and really hard to swallow. And the main problem is the villains, which are extremely one-dimensional, cliched, and just not that interesting. We have an Italian villain who is tough, talks slick, and is pretty stupid. And we have a Japanese villain who is stiff, doesn't show much emotion, and is just evil, not much else. However, the action part of the 1989 Punisher film is fucking incredible. We got death by gunfire, knives, fist-to-fist fights, car chases, explosions, you name it. It is just awesome, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Sylvester Stallone's film Cobra. And Dolph Lundgren, and I may be in the minority with this opinion, but out of all the actors who have played the Punisher in a movie, Dolph Lundgren is my personal favorite. He does an extremely good job playing the Punisher. He was able to portray so much depth, primarily through his facial acting, but also through scenes where he actually had to emote. And Dolph Lundgren's version of the Punisher is, when you come down to it, just a tragic, broken shell of a human being. You can just tell that this guy has nothing to live for, and the only thing keeping him going is his need to see the guilty punished. And several scenes show that he is ready to die at any moment. I just like the very dark route that Dolph Lundgren took the character, and I consider him to be my favorite Punisher. Even though, and this is a disappointed fan opinion that I agree with, he does not wear the iconic skull t-shirt. I don't know what they were thinking when they made it, but that was just a very dumb decision. It'd be like if they made a Superman movie where Superman didn't have his S. Another thing that the 1989 film has going for it is a supporting cop character, who is a former partner of Frank Castle, played by the great Louis Gossett Jr. Louis Gossett Jr. is just an amazing actor, and like I said in my mini review of the Left Behind movies, even if the movie and its script are not good, Louis Gossett Jr. is just such an incredible actor that he can take badly written stuff and make it sound great. And here he adds just enough to make this movie a little bit classy. The next movie to feature the iconic vigilante was the 2004 blockbuster action film, The Punisher, starring Thomas Jane. Everything that was wrong with the 1989 film is very well fixed here in the 2004 version. The story is better structured, there are less ridiculous scenes, and the villains are so much more awesome. Much better developed, you can take them much more seriously, and they have a lot of great actors playing them, including as the mob boss responsible for the death of the Punisher's family, John Travolta as Howard Saint. One of his best roles, actually. The action is amazing, the story is very emotional, and you're hooked beginning to end. And as for Thomas Jane as this version of the Punisher, I think he did a very good job. He had a lot of very emotional scenes to work with, and he pulled them off extremely well. However, this Punisher is given just a few too many scenes of him kind of being happy, or showing that he's still in touch with some of his humanity and morals. So yeah, I just feel like they didn't go dark enough with this version of the character, which some people may disagree with because there are some pretty dark scenes in this movie, but I feel like they didn't go far enough in showing just how broken he could have become. But nonetheless, I do think Thomas Jane did a very good job, and it is still an incredible action film. And the last theatrical movie to feature the Punisher that fans, whether they prefer the 1989 film or the 2004 film, can agree is the worst Punisher movie. Punisher Warzone from 2008, starring Ray Stevenson. I'm just not sure what to make of this film. It was a reboot made 4 years after the Thomas Jane film, after that movie did not do as favorably at the box office as they would have hoped. And I guess they thought they needed to take a new direction, and the direction they took was just god-awful. For some reason, it would appear that the filmmakers thought it would be a smart idea to combine the style of 1989's The Punisher with 1986's Howard the Duck. The action in this movie is just really over the top and goofy, and this movie is technically a comedy with the way a lot of it is executed. The movie's villain, Jigsaw, is just fucking unbearable. It's basically every stereotypical Italian mobster you've ever seen. They actually, throughout the film, go, "Hey, usa," and they combine that personality with making the character physically look like the stitched up version of Chucky. And for as many problems as it has, it shows once again that every actor who has played the Punisher has done a reasonably good job. Ray Stevenson does a pretty good job as the Punisher, and there are some actors in supporting roles who do pretty good jobs despite what they're given to work with. The main one being Wayne Knight as the Punisher's sidekick, Microchip. I was pretty surprised by Wayne Knight's performance here. He adds a little bit of comedy like he usually does, but he's one of the more serious parts of the film, and Wayne Knight is able to really convey some good drama. But if you're a big fan of the Punisher, I don't recommend you see Punisher Warzone. It's a pretty annoying film, and you'll come out of it feeling very disappointed. And those are my thoughts on the Punisher movies. Which film was your favorite? Which movie Punisher did you like the best? Leave a comment below and let me know.